In today's video, we're going to be taking a look here at these current conditions. We're also going to be diving into the upcoming pattern. Now, if the audio sounds a little bit different, I've been having some issues with my recording software, so I'm having to use a different one, and sometimes that can cause things to sound a little bit different, just because the volume at which it's coming out is a little bit different. So it might sound bad, it might sound better, I don't know, but let me know what you guys think down below because I might just keep using this one, who knows. Now we're taking a look here at these current conditions. Now, when we hop into the upcoming pattern, there's an important thing to note. The models have come back to showing some cold air, so I guess that's good news for a lot of you. There is a lot of you that are cold and snow lovers. There's also a lot of you that don't want that. I will acknowledge that, obviously, but the thing to note here is that this model has been pushing it further and further and further back and kind of giving us these little crumbs that it's coming, and then it kind of just backs off. And in the past, in my experience, I've seen this happen a couple of times, maybe one or two times. And every time it does, in my experience, it just ends up never happening, at least not in the time frame expected. So that is a really high chance right now, in my opinion, is that the cold just doesn't really ever come how it's expected to happen. Regardless of teleconnections, unexpected things can still happen, and that's why there still has to be meteorologists, there's still forecasts, there's still opinions. That's really what makes all of this possible, is that we don't know what's going to happen. It's all just opinions and some slight guesswork, I will say. Now, we're going to hop into all of that. There's also a chance that it does pan out, obviously, as well, but in my experience, that's usually how this goes. Now, let's just take a look at a lot of what's going on right now, and we can see there's plenty of low pressure and just in general storminess because of that happening along the eastern and a lot of the south central United States here. So we're seeing an area just about like this is where a lot of that storminess is happening. We're also having some showery activity here for the Four Corner states and then also for the upper Midwest and Great Lakes. So let's zoom into a couple of these different areas. First off, our kind of southwest area, we do have some snowfall showers for states like Nevada, Utah, Colorado, and then we have a lot of rainfall showers underneath New Mexico, Texas, Arizona as well. And then we move towards a lot of these low pressure systems and cold fronts happening in here, and we can see a lot of this is moving right along that 500 millibar geopotential height, just like this, which is those black lines. We see near Lubbock all the way up through Oklahoma City there, we see plenty of these showers, moderate in some spots as well. And then as we move up a little bit further eastward, we could see this pocket here again, still just moving right along those black lines, indicating it's moving along those 500 millibar geopotential height lines. It's moving right with that. There is some heavier pockets in here, especially here in Tennessee, I've noted. Is where we're seeing the heaviest of these showers. Certainly an area that is expected to see plenty of precipitation in the upcoming pattern. They're certainly seeing a lot right now as well. Let's just backtrack real quickly because there is this snowfall happening for states like Michigan, Wisconsin, and earlier on Minnesota. And this is moderate to heavy in spots as well, so this is really coming down quite a bit in some different areas. As we look at the northeast here, we can see that there is showers galore here, a lot of which are moderate to heavy, some of which are very, very light as well. Heavy ones are going to especially be in this portion of New York here, bordering on even what I would call a thunderstorm here, north of I-90 and just to the west of I-87. This is kind of over the Adirondacks, actually. And what we can see is this red popping up in here. So definitely a heavier shower there. Interesting during a winter month to see these heavier showers and thunderstorms rolling through all the way up in upstate New York. Kind of interesting there, to say the least. Now what we're going to do is move on, and we're going to focus in on that upcoming pattern finally. Now let's dive into the upcoming pattern. As you can see, there is a storm system that's expected to move up into the eastern United States overall. We have another one moving into the northwest, and this is by about Thursday, December 8th here. We see this storminess taking place, and as we just continue this on, we do see some snowfall here for a lot of the northeastern regions of North America. We do see some more snowfall showers happening up here in the northwest as well by Saturday into Sunday. Sunday here we have another storm system moving deep south into the western United States. Plenty of snowfall here for a lot of the Rockies and also for the Northeast. We're seeing quite a bit of that as well. So we're seeing these more minor systems in the eastern United States and more major systems out west kind of not surprising, actually. We see that very often. We do see that a more major storm system develops here across the Central Plains, and if we move it back just a little bit, this actually starts developing Monday afternoon here for Colorado, bringing plenty of snowfall for the Rockies, and then I think severe weather here in the Plains is what I'm expecting. Probably a 3-day severe weather outbreak will be possible with this type of a setup. That's what I'm thinking right now, and this storm system right here, even though it's just a little L on the screen, is going to basically dictate the entire pattern and everything that's going to happen. So stay tuned, keep watching. It moves up, and by Tuesday, I think the severe weather area is going to look like this. We do have a cold front right here with cold air surging in behind it, and then we have the warm air moving northward just ahead of it, and this is usually a really big indication that tornadic activity will be possible in severe weather in general. So I am watching Monday through Wednesday, approximately maybe even through Thursday of next week for severe weather. We see the snowfall moves up in a big way to the Rockies and a lot of the upper Midwest as well, and northern plains, all seeing plenty of snowfall with this event. Very, very interesting stuff. By the time we're reaching Wednesday, we see this area here seeing some of that severe weather potentially. And then Thursday, I think the southeast might see some. This will probably be the least likely day to see severe weather out of all of them, though. But Monday through Thursday, I think that's the 12th through the 15th or so, I am watching for severe weather with this storm system. But we also notice a trough is starting to move in, okay? So we see this colder air able to finally move in. And this is really the cause of the potential cold air. And we see by this point we have snowfall in the east here happening with a big 977 millibar low pressure center there over New England. Plenty of cold air, finally, and some snowfall in place. Now, real quickly, total precipitation through the next 10 days. Anywhere in the whites, practically no precipitation. Your gray's a 1/10 of an inch or less. Your green's a 1/10 of an inch to 1/2 an inch. Blue's 1/2 an inch to an inch. Your yellow's 1 inch to 2 inches. Red's 2 to 5 inches. And then your brown's there 5 to 10 inches of precipitation. We see plenty of this here for Oregon and California, and then also here for Tennessee and some surrounding regions. Your total snowfall through the next 10 days. Your grays, a dusting if anything. Blues, 2 to 6 inches of snowfall. Purple, 6 to 10. Pinks, 10 to 20. Pastel blues there, 20 to 35 inches of snowfall for a lot of areas. And then your pastel pinks within those pastel blues, 35 to 48 inches of snowfall potentially. A huge, huge, huge amount, obviously. We can see here on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, 112 inches is the maximum in there. Likely for the Sierra Nevadas actually here for a lot of these areas. Certainly a whole lot of snowfall expected for some of these mountainous areas. Now, as we move into our temperature pattern, we can see that this southeast ridge here is really what's causing a lot of our issues here with warm air being the main driving factor. We're seeing cold air masses basically do this. They're diving into the west and then they're moving up as they head eastward because they're moving around this bubble that is blocking the cold air from moving in. But we also have a big Greenland block up here. It's further northeast than we can even see. But I think what's going to happen here, and we'll see this on this model run, is a lot of the cold air is going to work its way back down the east coast. And we'll see that happening pretty much throughout this model run. So let's keep going with it. We do see this cold air starts to move up into this area I was talking about, and it starts shooting off some cold air down the east coast as soon as Friday, just a couple of days from now. But we can tell overall it's warmer in the east than it is out west. We see a big negative PNA out here causing cold air for the west. As we continue on, we see more of this cold air getting thrown down the east coast, so some cooler times or more near normal times are possible. Here's that cold front coming through, and this is going to allow some cold air to move into the east, and we do see it by the time we reach the end of the model run. Plenty of cold air here for the eastern United States, but look, here's the main thing I want to talk about. Out west, we still have a negative PNA, which stands for Pacific North American Oscillation. This is our Pacific area of North America, and when it's in its negative phase, it means colder temperatures out west, basically. And warm and cold do not want to mix. They want to move around each other like water and oil is a good way to look at it. So a lot of warm air is going to be encouraged to move up into the eastern United States and Canada. That's why this coast-to-coast cold air will not last long. We need an actual positive PNA to get sustainable long-term cold air in the east. So even though this is a good sign for the most part that cold air is on the way, it is not going to be weeks of cold with this type of a cooldown. We need a positive PNA in place in order to see that persistent Arctic blast pattern in the east. So for now, big question marks in the upcoming pattern, obviously. Now, we do upload every single day, and I think there's going to be a lot of things becoming uncovered by the time we're reaching later this week, this weekend, into early next week. So be sure to tune in with us as we do upload every single day. Be sure to subscribe and even hit that bell icon for daily notifications when we do upload. Also, like the video and leave a comment down below. I will see you guys in the next video.